So we can, now we can dive down into the point that Tim brought up earlier and elaborate a little bit further. And this will kind of be like the curtain tail topic of our evening, which is the Pokemon franchise, right? Both the game and anime. Now, Tim has said earlier, right, about how the Pokemon franchise seems to have plateaued, and we're starting to kind of see the cracks of they're not really sure what to do with it anymore. Which, Tim and I, we've talked about this like months and months and months ago. And, as somebody who's been kind of a casual off and on fan, I'm always in a place of confusion when it comes to Pokemon, because the little bits that I do see and do engage myself in, it seems like there's some really good ideas there. Like, I remember like when Tim put me onto Omega Red, I was like, bro, why did they stop doing Mega Evolutions further on? He was like, yeah, they just kind of got rid of it. I was like, why? This is great. He's like, yeah, they just stopped, or like he sent me the Pokemon Journey shorts. I was like, yo, this animation is dope. It's taking on a much more mature tone. Is this a new series? Nah, bro, it's just a bunch of shorts. Wait, what? But why won't they just do a regular Pokemon series and then the Journey series for us older audiences? No, they don't have any plans to do that. Okay. Then, one of the earlier iterations of the podcast, Tim and I talked about, and this was a year or two ago, Tim, we're like, hey, it might be time to retire Ash as a protagonist. And Ash continued to be the protagonist up until this year. They didn't age him. They didn't time skip. He just continued to be 10-year-old Ash Ketchum from the 90s. What's the...
No, I was just saying it took almost 7 years to see a person of.
Oh, bruh. And even then, it goes back to what you just said so well about 16 of like, were they really of color or were they a palette swap for diversity's sake? Did we really get the fact that you can do a whole Pokemon Sun and Moon that basically takes place in the Caribbean?
No, it was actually Hawaii. It was Hawaii. It was based on Hawaii.
Okay.
But still, Polynesian people, they are considered people of color as well, because they have brown skinned people as well. But then it's the fact that, it goes back to like our racial talks about there you do see some racial undertones. Like I did like the professor of the region, like he had a more Polynesian color. But everybody and there's
even the best friend character / rival character you have, he's a little bit more. Yeah.
And then even one of the trial captains or gym leaders or what you want to call it, like you saw some of the influences there, but you did also see the colonial aspects.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
There's never been Pokemon Africa.
And I don't think we will ever get it, bro.
Yeah.
But honestly, the most disappointing part of the Pokemon series has been Pokemon Europe, just like Assassin's Creed. Like Kalos did not do well. The British one did not do well, and then now this current Spain one is just kind of like, nope, it's not really doing well. Like, yes, there's some real cool ideas, like, bro, because honestly, man, Mega Evolution was a game changer, man. That was a serious game changer. But I just felt that they got so focused about the next gimmick that they just kept doing it. And it's like, bro, personally, I don't care for giant Pokemon. Like Sword and
Kaiju.
Sword and Shield. I was like, bro, you mean to tell me this is the basis of the story is Gigantamax and Dynamax as like. And then the way they had to kind of talk about it, they make it seem like it's like region exclusive. Like, oh, this is the phenomenon of this region. But then in the anime, they just doing it everywhere. So, and even that, like Z moves were cool to an extent, but I did see that phasing out very early. And then even this new gimmick with these little crystal hats, like, no, bro, that is goofy.
Yeah. This crystal typing of like, it gives you reduced damage in this and gives you a damage increase in the element you're not based in. It's like,
Mega Evolutions was the game changer, bro.
All I saw was Seto Kai, but I heard his theme music. When I saw that, man, the whole this do that and that hat and this that. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of whack, man.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of.
But then, like I used to just said it in terms of the anime, like even this new current one, I definitely feel it's definitely more just new age kid friendly. But now I'm starting to think like, well, is Pokemon really just doing like a revamp of their series? Like where like, hey, the old kids, we thank you for supporting us for years, but goodbye. Because that's how I kind of felt with BDSP. And well, even like Let's Go, even though Let's Go had some good high moments, but like BDSP was just a huge not in the right direction because especially as much people has been waiting for like a Sinnoh remix. Like, bro, Fire Red Leaf Green, amazing remix. Heart Gold and Soul Silver, phenomenal remix. Oraz, almost close to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Here comes the Sinnoh remakes where we got to introduce to the god of Pokemon.
And those graphics and that gameplay looked horrific.
And it was just
horrific.
It was just a carbon copy of the old games. Like there was really nothing really new. Like yes, they gave us a much more immersive game in terms of like Legends Arceus, where we got the real lore of Pokemon, which is actually a very great route to take. Like I would love to see a Legends Johto game about the Twin Towers with Lugia, Ho-Oh, and then the creation of Raikou, Entei, and Suicune. Or, Legends Unova, where we see the original dragon of Kyurem, Reshiram, and Zekrom. Like, these are real good things that really explore, like, Pokemon's past. Like, they really get a more in-depth story about the lore and stuff. But there's, like, will they do it?
I guess my question, and either you guys can answer, and I've asked this to Tim before. Me personally, I feel like and we could talk games and we could talk to anime, right? So I'll give my thoughts on both. My question is, and I kind of stand by this. I don't think we need more Pokemon like that. I don't. I think they've been dropping bloated numbers. We're like, yeah, this new generation has 25 or 30 or 40 more Pokemon. I'm like, bro, I've literally seen a Pokemon that reminds me of a broom. And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is not a creature. This is a household item. This is a mop with eyes. Stop it.
Trash, dog.
Like
I was gonna say that.
Like you're not innovating in creature design anymore. Cut it out. Give me 10 to 15 classic designs. And don't get me wrong, there's been a couple, right? I think Arceus showed some really, really cool designs. Even Scarlet and Violet had some really cool designs. I'm like, if you give me like let's just say 15 just fire designs and focus on gameplay and lore, you guys are out of here. Listen. Because like Tim said, it's been all gimmicks. It's like, nah, we gotta increase the list to 115,000 Pokemon. Now you can catch Dustmite. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, man. Like
I mean, yeah, I do realize like ever since Black and White, they have like gone down in terms of numbers for the Pokedex. Like every Pokedex has gotten smaller and smaller and smaller of like just new Pokemon. And then, even the inclusion of regional variants, which is actually pretty cool. Like Alolan Marowak and Alolan Ninetales, like even Alolan Raichu were some of the best. Now they have convergent species where it's like a cousin of them, but they're an entirely different Pokemon. All I want for them is to complete the EV cycle, and that would bring me such closure. Just complete the EV cycle for once, and let me just have that closure. But I do feel like yes, like in terms of designs, like yeah, like they're starting to really run out of ideas, bro. Even in terms of when they do particular landscapes, like all right. Well, I know the legendaries are gonna be a lot more about these mythological creatures that I know in real life. Nope.
It's too all over the place. The story, like Tim said, I understand the kid appeal, right? I think that's the thing that I don't know personally as somebody, like it's always something that I've challenged. Like kids are not dumb. Kids are not dumb. They're not slow. Like obviously they have a bit of a higher learning curve than an adult because they're children, but they're not dumb. You can give a kid a stimulating and slowly challenging game, right? I remember like there was games. I mean, we all knew Mega Man X as a kid, hell on earth. So what you do, you held on to it so you're a little bit older and you could figure out some of those things and you went back and played it because the game wasn't going anywhere. I don't need a game that I could beat on autopilot, right? It is a game that I'm supposed to be investing in. We're in the era of DLC where they're trying to squeeze more longevity out of this game. You don't need to My Little Pony the story for me where it's just handed to me, right? Like I think Pokemon can offer a bit more challenge and a bit more, dare I say, gravity to the story, right?
To be honest, and one of their biggest high moments in terms of difficulty and story was the GameCube era with Pokemon Coliseum and XD. To this day, people have said those are some of the most hardest Pokemon games to beat, bro. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the YouTube videos, it's like they're right, bro. Like this was like some serious stuff back in the day, and it was on the GameCube, bro. Like it wasn't until Legends Arceus, the final battle with the Cynthia ancestor, that like the people was like, yo, the difficulty just spiked like times 4.
Yeah, like, I was playing Ultra Moon the other day. Like I brought my 3DS, and I think is it Necrozma?
Necrozma, when he turns into the dragon.
I can't beat him. I'm like, yo, because same thing. The difficulty just went through the roof. I'm like, doing my thing, whatever, good story, whatever. I'm just like, bro, this is surprisingly, like in a good way. I'm like, oh, I have to actually, it kind of reminded me like, oh, this is actually an RPG. I forgot, I forgot this is an RPG where I have to go switch on my skills and level up and actually use strategy, and it's like, I just feel like the games need more of that game wise. Joy, I'd see you at some points and then we'll get into the anime specific.
Can I say stuff on anime or no?
I mean, you want to tie it in, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First, for me, like, I understand where you was coming from, being confused, man, because like this Pokemon is literally a broom. This one's a trash can. That's when I was like, Pokemon is finished, bro. I don't know if the Pokemon name is 3 trash bags, and they make a Pokemon, and I was like, yeah, it's done, dog. There's one that looks like yo, you can't tell me this not no blender. Mm-hmm. You feel me? A flying blender. Okay, I'll let you get away with the Magneton and the Magnet, whatever. I'll let you get away with that. You feel me? I'll let you get away with that. But this is ridiculous, man. My thing with Pokemon is it should be a mixture of Pokemon Snap. And when I say mixture, like Pokemon Snap had a very explorative element to it that made you want.
Okay, yeah, especially
you know what I'm saying?
Especially that latest one.
Yeah,
bro, that world is like, bro, this is what Pokemon should be.
You feel me? Like, dog, why am I not exploring? Why do I have to be? I'm not gonna say it, be a trainer, but like, give me a different type of trainer. Make me a trainer / this. Make me a trainer / that. Give me like a RPG. You have Final Fantasy, right? People want an RTS game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, give us a class system, right? This is you. If you want your Pokemon to be this way, this is the only way you could do it. Because he's a fighting and the trainer you pick gives the Pokemon special perks. This turns the game to a different thing now, right? You get a different way. You could do that in Pokemon, dog. I think the Pokemon set of Feudal Japan was probably genius blueprint. I always thought Pokemon should have been this way, right? Mm. You're playing the game, the Pokemon attack you if you get it too close because they're actually territorial.
They're creatures. They're wild
creatures. They're wild creatures. You have examples like Monster Hunter. You know what I'm saying? Like that it give you a very explorative, immersive world. Like you don't have to have a tree look like a tree in Pokemon. It could look like a tree that with the honeycomb. What's that Pokemon with the hand for a tail for a hand? Apom.
Yeah.
You have go back to you crossbreeding animals. I know Primate is a crossbreed between a pig and an ape.
Monkey. Yeah.
Go back to that. I know that Machamp is a crossbreed, or Machamp, the one with the belts.
Yeah.
Is a chicken turtle or whatever.
I don't think it's a chicken. It's Machamp. It's hard to say. Like I know, like
he has a beak, right?
Right? Polyrath is basically a frog, a bullfrog.
Yeah,
more or less. But Machamp is it's kind of hard because he kind of has almost like I want to say a duck face, like almost like a humanoid.
Well, not everything is based off an animal. They have more humanoidish looking type of things. Like, yeah, because like Machamp is based off like a four-arm wrestler. Like, yeah, so
yeah, but it's still a creature. You know what I'm saying? It's just the more.
Yeah, but like I said, like, but not everything is like strictly animal based. Everything is like there are some things that look technological. There are things that are elemental. There are things that are just like humanistic, and then
like the Reggies.
Like just like Anthony said a while back. Then now you got these god tier looking Digimon looking ones because you gotta see the references. Like especially like in this last one, Ceruledge and Armor Rouge. I was like, bro, that's straight Mega Man. That's Mega Man.
Sir. Game Freak has been saying copy paste.
I think that's what it's missing, man. Like they're not really thinking, and I think this wall is gonna help them. To be honest with you, and then to go into the anime, like those shorts are some of the best. Dog, the one where they was sharing with Kyogre. Now it made me play Ruby in a different light, man. And you figure that your Kyogre is not your friend Pokemon, dog. Like you feel me? This boy said, "Yes, Kyogre." Yo, he had his 4Kids villain voiceover, dog. 4Kids, and he got clapped like a 4Kids villain, man. Immediately, dog. And then the one where it made me terrified of Rayquaza, dog.
Yeah, yes.
Yo, there was this short, like it's based in the main anime, but it was basically they call it the Mega Evolution Adventures. You saw this fight between Rayquaza, Groudon, and Kyogre in their primal forms and mega forms. Bro, Mega Rayquaza literally came out and just destroyed them, bro. Like that was a cataclysmic type of battle, bro, because Kyogre would come out to sea, do an ice beam. Next thing you know, half a continent of ice just comes out of nowhere. Groudon makes the earth plates come from the earth and just stab your Charizard. Well, like, of course, no blood, but of course. Yeah. But it's just, and then you see him pip slap Metagross in his mega form halfway across the ice. I was like, bro, this was a Titanic style fight. And then here come Rayquaza and his mega form just swoop in and just butts both of them. And they just go back into slumber as like he knocked them to sleep. Like y'all two stop fighting. Like some of the best, and then like how you said, the shorts, some of the best animation in the world, lore wise. Like when it's just a lot, bro. They have so much. They have so much going for them, but they just choose to keep it in a compressed format, and they're not allowing this stuff to grow. Because even when you read the Pokemon manga, bro, it's like, bro, there's a lot of dark stuff that happens. Like you found out the first Kanto Elite Four are basically terrorists.
Yeah. And what's it called? I remember the first Pokemon manga. They're like, yo, Victreebel will eat you. He has acquired a taste for human flesh.
Hey, man. I don't know if y'all seen this Pokemon gun.
This fly trap Pokemon with a taste for human flesh.
And then even three of the Kanto gym leaders work for Team Rocket because look at Lieutenant Surge. He's a lieutenant of what? And it makes sense. He's a lieutenant within Team. Sabrina was part of Team Rocket. Koga was part of Team Rocket. Like the only person that was hinted that was part of Team Rocket in the actual anime was Blaine because he was behind the Mewtwo project. But then, of course, Ash wins the badge and everybody just goes on their business. No follow-up. Even now, Giovanni is a real true mastermind in the manga, bro. But then in the show, he's just the mascot that the Team Rocket people praise and, oh, my lordship, this. And it's like, bro, come on.
Yeah, Bison. He's M. Bison.
Yes. He's
Norman Osborn.
And
at the same time,
he's a Bison level character in the mangas, bro. Like, and it's like, bro, this is such a very disservice, bro. Disservice.
Yeah, what were you gonna say earlier, Tori?
in regards to like the Pokemon, like the anime, yeah, new protagonists, and it just I mean, if I go back to early Pokemon, the fights were never really that amazing to me as far as the animation. They were like pretty lackluster.
It wasn't until the movies that we started getting like
it was up until the movies would be different, right? Versus the actual anime. Like the fights were so lackluster, man.
Bro,
go ahead, Tim.
The moment when they started doing fusion attacks, like that don't make sense. Like there was one point where Pikachu was on top of one of Ash's flying Pokemon and gave the flying Pokemon an electric coat. And then they bashed into the Pokemon. So like, you mean to tell me this normal type flying Pokemon didn't get electrocuted, even though that's its primary weakness?
In the game.
And it's like, bro, that makes no sense. No sense.
And then okay, right? You like build up, you do such a good job at building certain Pokemon and they automatically like lose respect after a while. I remember Alakazam was like summoning a Blue Eyes White Dragon. If you had a psychic type, it was the most mystical type of Pokemon. Like, yo, this is like, this person needs to be a different. I feel like Pokemon should not even allow you to train certain Pokemons if you don't have certain stats for them.
I mean, they kind of did that. Remember, it used to be like badge related, where it's like if you didn't have a certain badge, like they.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They still are. Well, they technically kind of still are. Like if you don't have the third badge, Pokemon over a certain level don't obey you, type of thing. Because that's what keeps you like involved in getting the actual badges. Yeah, but I get what you mean about the majesticness, man, and I do feel like it has really lost a lot of its flair over the time. Like, even when you saw the animation style difference when they introduced the Sun and Moon anime, I was like, why does Ash look younger?
Even younger, yeah.
Is this like a different universe or something? Because that's where everybody was starting to throw out this multiverse thing. But apparently it technically is, but still a continuation from the actual anime. But it's like he looks younger, and then even the episodes felt more kiddish. And it's like, and they just kept like, it was to the point where when they went to Pokemon England, they didn't even give that a full-fledged anime. He was just exploring the world with that character who just kept catching legendaries with a regular Pokemon. I was like, bro, you being disrespectful to me right now, bro, because it took
98 balls, man.
It took me like 15 Ultra Balls to capture Ultras. You just capturing a Suicune with one throw of a Pokeball.
Right.
And I just kind of felt like it's like they just put out, they started to do like cheat code characters that did not make no sense and did not really carry the spirit of what Pokemon was, bro.
Tim, you just gave me a traumatic flashback. I remember the days of Red and Blue, where like you're getting your third and fourth badge, you're feeling yourself, you throw a Pokeball, and you're like, yeah, so and so has knocked it back. You're like, whoa, hey, hold on, wait, what? Like, I don't even know that was a possibility. I know they will pop out, but it's like, no, he has smacked it back. It's like, whoa. And you're right. Like there was never, but that's always been the case, right? There was never ever any type of consistency between the anime and the game, right? One was not. I mean, there was gimmicks shared between both, but one was not set the bar for the other, right? There was a time where it's like, I remember the original anime. I think it's like Pikachu used Thunder, like first season. So I'm like, oh, so that in my kid brain, like, oh, see, he's like level 45 now, whatever. It don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's like 20 episodes later, he's tangling with legendaries, and then 20 episodes after that, he can't beat like a pharaoh that's been trained. It's like, bro, what? I don't wait, huh? Like, the same Pikachu that fought Mewtwo and survived is struggling against what I'm saying, Geodude. All right,
he literally fought Cell, dog, and I'm just like, okay. he fought Pokemon Cell, and yeah, nothing happened to homie, dog.
Yeah.
No, it's perplexing, man. I think after Ruby and Sapphire, because that's when I technically stopped playing, it started to tank. You guys could probably tell me if I'm missing out on certain, but I think after Ruby and Sapphire, it tanked, man.
Yeah,
after,
you're not
after
missing anything. Yeah.
And
after
Emerald.
no, Emerald was a very huge peak.
Yeah.
To this day, people have said Hoenn, Johto, and Kanto were some of like best memories. Like Sinnoh was up there, yes, but like no, Hoenn really has like a very hardcore place in people's heart. Now, it wasn't until Black and White, which was Gen 5, that's where they changed everything. Like that to this day, they had the biggest Pokedex, like literally almost over like about 300 new Pokemon, bro, which has never been done. And it was to the point where you only could capture new Pokemon. All the old Pokemon, they had to do like an update of a national dex for them to appear. You just captured all the new Pokemon that was present. Now, it wasn't like that. That's why I said that was their version of Endgame. Now, after that, Gen 6 and onward, like, yes, Gen 7 with the Hawaii edition, it did good. It did good. And then, of course, the remake of Auraz came in. But then, like I said, bro, Pokemon Europe has just been...
Yeah.
Is Black and White...
anything.
Yeah, okay. Is Black and White...
Paldea?
Who are the... Yeah.
No, Paldea is the current region that we're in. We're in Pokemon France.
No. The Pokemon, the legendaries.
The legendaries.
Were they the time Pokemon?
No, that was Gen 4.
Okay.
Gen 5 was like Taoism, like so yin yang and stuff like that.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's like after Gen 5, that's where you start to really see like, yeah, they're not really putting that much into it. Like the moment, and it was so funny. What saved Gen 7 was that Mega Evolutions trailer. Like, because people was asking, like, yo, is Mega Evolutions coming back? Is Mega Evolutions coming back? They put it in. That's what saved the purchases, bro.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, so you mean to tell me it's just about these new super Spirit Bomb type characters, like for moves, like Z moves, like that's it? People was like, nah, bro. They want Mega Evolutions back, so they did. Like, yes, they didn't give us no new evolutions, but people were so happy of, the region, how it looks and stuff like that. But I did feel like what Gen 7 made a fault was there's no dive mechanic. Like the biggest thing about Gen 3, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, you could dive underwater. Like there's a whole new world under there. Like, no, you can't travel between the islands on water. I was like, bro, this is an island region, bro.
Yeah.
you mean, and then it's like, come on, bro. Like, it's like there's just certain things like mechanical wise that it's just like, bro, this is very dumb. This is very dumb. But then here comes the Sun and Moon anime. Ash is riding a Sharpedo underwater to the next island.
Right, as he should be able to. You can go down to the beach in the game and surf, but you can't surf like Tim said, to another island. It's a whole surfing mini game that's pointless because you can't do anything other than
pointless.
The question I wanted to ask you guys in regards to the anime, other than obviously I think we're on the same page of they don't know what to do. I guess again, one controversial take per episode. I feel like obviously there's a kind of a we'll wait and see when it comes to these protagonists. I have been of the mindset of a long time now that Pikachu is the face of the franchise, right? Like the human trainer, to Jory's point, is irrelevant, right? Where it's like, even if these two new protagonists have nothing to do with wanting to be a Pokemon champion, there's enough lore there now where you can tell an interesting story and have people still engage and still watch, and of course still have a journey, right? Still have a goal, where it's just like, no, there's these key Pokemon that will still carry the franchise. You can still, obviously it won't be Team Rocket 1-for-1, but you can still have a Team Rocket-esque antagonist. I think there's a lot of ways that wish they could do more with antagonists in general, right? I think it's pretty clear that over the years they kind of fumbled Gary, right? Gary's irrelevant essentially in terms of the greater story, right? So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts, and we can kind of close things off from there. Like, do you guys feel like going to this new version or new era of Pokemon that it's gonna depend mostly on the protagonist to carry it?
To be honest, bro, I've lost faith in the anime. Even seeing some of the episodes of this new one, I just don't feel that spirit, bro. Because I do feel like, especially how the way the manga handled the different characters, like you had the Gen 1 characters, you had the Gen 2 ones, 3, and then they all met each other at certain points. Mm-hmm. Some of them met each other and it made sense as a story. I do felt like what they did wrong was they remixed, they used Ash for too long, mm-hmm. which is based on Red. They used them for too much. And then when you really look at it, Red is a much more interesting character than Ash.
Yes.
But I have no real faith in this next anime because, like I said, the current regions that they've been doing is very stagnant. Like in terms of story, lore, even the legendaries don't even hold weight no more, bro, because they've reached such a burnout point where I just feel like they just need to come to a close. And I do feel like that's where their spinoffs come in, like, the Legends. Mm-hmm. Legends is a good way to re-explore lore and give you that very fresh, feeling again. Legends RC has proved that. Even the Pokemon Tekken game, Pokémon Tournament, people don't realize, bro, that is some of the most detailed Pokemon fighting I've ever seen. Every Pokemon has a particular specialty. You find out that, Machamp is a grappler. People have said, do not let this man touch you because he will literally just dominate you through the entire fight. Blaziken is a high risk, high reward type character. Darkrai is a weird zoner. So and Blastoise is like a tank. Yes, he's a medium tank. He sucks close quarters, but from afar, he's just basically like the Mizukage from Storm 4. And it's chaos. It's literally chaos.
Cannons everywhere. Yeah.
But it's and that's why I kind of feel like they really need to explore that more. Even what Jory's point earlier, Pokemon Snap, that immersive world. That second one, bro, graphically, even lore wise, beautiful stuff, bro. But it's just, I do feel like the mainline series has really taken a major hit that they just don't know what to do anymore, bro.
Okay, so you don't feel like protagonist, nothing like this.
Okay. It's done. It's done. What I think they could do is just like how they did them shorts, where they gave us key clips of pinnacle moments. Literally start a journey like that from each region, and let's just see a more fleshed out version of the game's version, I would say. Bro, when I saw when they went to the unknown dungeon to fight Mewtwo, yes, we grew up on Mewtwo Strikes Back. Still a beautiful story, but see that unknown dungeon format was beautiful. Mm-hmm. To see the Kimono sister dance to Ho and Lugia, beautiful. To see that dragon girl summon Rayquaza to get Rayquaza's grace, and then the fight with Deoxys in space. I was like, bro, come on.
And captured homie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then of course, they skipped over the Arceus episode and they just gave us they just summoned Dialga and Palkia, but no, come on, let's see somebody capture the so-called god of Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Come on. Give us that. And I feel like that would bring the series back to a much more glory point, because look, now we're in Generation 9. So you literally have 9 whole generations of material that you could just go through. Sure. Yes, it's familiar, but now you have a more fleshed out stories with better, interesting characters. Because like I said, the manga characters, their versions are very interesting. Like Silver, from Pokemon Gold and Silver, that's Giovanni's son. You actually see why he hated his father for leaving.
Oh, my fault. Not charging.
Bro, there's so much more that they could do. So much more.
Tim's right, man. That's a dope remake, man. That's all someone could ever want of a remake, man. What the Pokemon shorts did. And I think
so same thing. You don't feel like these current protagonists can save
who is this protagonist now?
It's just a guy and a boy and a girl. I can't say a guy and a girl. It's these two kids.
Kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kids.
Okay. They should have let Ash grow up at one point, to be honest with you. Right?
Okay.
See, that's why I prefer Red. Like, even though Ash is a counterpart to Red, but like Red actually grew up because remember in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, you meet Red and Gary, and you see that they're older. They're much older.
Not adult, but
they're in their 20s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you can see it in his whole demeanor, like the way they stand up, their clothing is like Gary's been like, yeah, I've been a gym leader for about like 10 years right now, bro. What's up?
And then to my thing, like, Tim, let me know. Would you want is it Arceus, the one that was in feudal Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not Japan. It's not Japan, but it's like the Sinnoh region. But it's like a feudal era of Sinnoh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the feudal era of Sinnoh, but with Pokémon mechanics, would you mind a game like that?
I mean, that's what they did.
With what? No.
You said Pokemon or Pokken?
Pokken.
No. I mean, that's more like Pokken DLC. Like,
well, I guess. Are you asking, Jordan, in terms of like, would that make for an interesting storyline? You know, like
game. No, I mean, think about it. Like we'll play Ruby and Sapphire, but in Pokemon mechanics, or just. Would you mind a game like that? I think that's an interesting market.
I see where you're going. Yeah, I see where you're going. Actually, that might actually bring a lot new depth into like gameplay wise. The only thing about Pokken Tournament is they don't respect not gender, they don't respect type advantage. So it's like, you could blast somebody with that and it's like a regular hit. Because it's basically Pokemon Tekken. It doesn't really matter. But I do see like that level of depth in their moves. Yeah, that actually would be great to see. Because it would give you that real anime feel. Like, oh, here's a moon blast. Like, yeah, bro, Sailor Moon Stardust. Boom, gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm controlling the character and I'm combating the Pokemon on the field. That's what I always wanted Pokemon to be. That's why Pokemon was such a like. Is that on the Switch?
Yeah. Actually,
it is. That was on. Wasn't it like a Wii U?
It's Super Wii U. I think we would have known that.
No. It's on the Switch because like the first one was on the Wii U, and then they came out with an updated version for the Switch. I believe so.
Okay, I'm gonna get it then. I'm gonna get it then.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. I think for me, because I'm trying to think like what would get me more into that world of Pokemon and be something like that.
Yeah, Pokemon.
Right? I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
You get to have your Blaziken with you when you're walking to the next region, right? For example, 3 wild primates now are causing them up. Hey, I'm gonna pay you to handle this. All right. And I'm handling them with my Pokemon. My dude's in the background, making sure, like kind of like a Zatch Bell, making sure I'm not getting hit or whatever. I think it's an interesting market. I think it's an interesting concept. Mm-hmm. Because Pokemon, to be honest with you, has not exhaust ideas. They just keep doing the same stuff for what Tim said earlier. Too long. There's no Pokemon Stadium game.
Well, they kind of brought back Pokemon Stadium mechanics when it comes to the Wi-Fi online battling. So it's kind of like, you kind of get that itch in that area, but like, yeah, so to speak.
There's no spectacle though, man.
Yeah.
And I actually liked the pageants that was in Ruby.
Oh yeah, I mean, they still kind of have those things, but then it's like, but who really cares?
But is spectacle the way at this point? Because I feel like that's what they tried to do with Pokemon. Was it Journeys? Where they made Ash younger? Like like the animation took a jump, right? Ash is doing combined Kamehamehas with Pikachu. Like, I think they tried the spectacle route.
Wait, he fused with Pikachu?
He didn't fuse Pikachu, but
he was punching Pokemon too.
Huh?
He was punching Pokemon too.
No, but like when they did Z moves, like so Z moves essentially is like basically like an interpretive dance, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And at one point, he syncs with Pikachu to fire a Kamehameha.
Yeah, a Thunderbolt Kamehameha. Yeah.
And speaking of Pokemon, did you see the Pokemon game for adults where you get a Blastoise that pulls out the 2D?
Yeah, I did.
I'm copping it day one.
So I guess to wrap up and we'll kind of call it a day for this episode. Is it something where we're kind of like at a Naruto point, like we discussed last week, where Naruto kind of is just like they've written themselves into a corner? You know, like to both of your guys' points, I do feel like maybe there's a bit of redemption if they truly split, right, the audience of like, here is the Pokemon for the kids, because you know we're a billionaire company that still needs to make plushies. Mm-hmm. And here is something for people who have been watching and invested in the series since 1995. Here's something that's a little bit more mature. You guys think like that would be maybe the saving grace, other than Tim's idea, which I think is really, really good, that would kind of get things back on track?
Yes.
Tim, wait. I want to say something. I think 95 Ash was better than Pallet Town Ash with the jacket, classic jacket, was better. That version of Pokemon was way better than the Pokemon. It just changed in one season. Like when they got to Johto, it started to change because Ash was ruthless, man, with Misty.
Yeah.
All the side jokes, he had a little bit more of an edge. At
that point, bro, Ash was still Ash, bro. The moment that you gave Primeape away, there's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say to you. Like, yeah, Butterfree, I can understand that. Like, but yeah, bro, he was giving away Primeape. You gave away Pidgeot, bro. And honestly, that was the last episode. Pidgeot came back. You gave away Lapras. It's like because a lot of people said it. Like, how did you go from gotta catch them all to just
gotta give them away?
Mm-hmm.
The United Way.
Like, bro, that was the whole theme song. Like, you don't even care about the Pokedex no more, bro. Like, even like how they handled like the final season of, all right, so he didn't really fight a Galar League. He was just, since he won that championship in Alola, which was rigged, like he basically had to fight, he was able to fight all the champions from other regions. Bro, Steven was swept this man the entire fight. How he just come back like that? Even with Cynthia, it's like, bro, these fights just make no sense. It makes no sense. So I do feel, to get back on topic, they do need to separate their kid audience from their hardcore. Like, you know, Detective Pikachu, Pokemon Cafe, and all stuff like that. Like, yeah, these are cool things. Even the hardcore people, they miss Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. The hardcore people miss that.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
So I do feel like it was basically like a very like fantasy RPG-ish type of world with Pokemon.
Almost like a dungeon crawler with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, basically.
Word? That's fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they have like, you know, a lot of like variety that they can like, you know, experiment with, like Mario. But it's just like, bro, I do feel like the anime is kind of like done. Like, if you do bring the anime back, I do feel like giving it a more serious game focused tone, like an actual iteration of the actual games, would make it better. And that's just my 2 cents.
Okay. So it's not flatline like Naruto, but it's close. It's
definitely close, bro.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon Year has been.
Because Naruto, they don't even use hand signs anymore, bro.
Yeah, Naruto is okay. It sounds like we're on the same page. And again, I'll wrap us up. I think, you know, for the majority of anyone who is under the age of like 40, you know, we've all kind of grown up to Pokemon in some way, form, or fashion. I think there's ways in which they can stop being afraid to grow up a little bit. You know, I think the minute the series matures, there's a almost like an untapped audience that they can re-tap into. You know, still service the kids, right? Still have those aspects for the kids. You know, it's colorful monsters, right? It's it's the Pikachus, it's the Eevees, it's these very like family friendly looking designs that will always live on. But I think at a certain point, it's like you just got to grow up, right? You got to have certain things that kind of appeal to your audience. One of the things, and I said this in closing, and we'll be out of here, right? I've talked to Tim multiple times, Jory, about why I think Digimon is just an overall better written series, right? Because Digimon was not afraid to write off a character. The last movie they put out during COVID is like, yo, Agumon and Gabumon are gone. That's how the series ends. They are gone. Because these characters are adults. And yeah, it's hard to continue to save the world when you have to have a job and girlfriends and, and families and things like that. It's like you have to, at some point, mature the series. Granted, there's, they kind of allude to, obviously Davis and them and second generation being younger and continuing on that legacy. Right. But I think that's also one of the things that we've all learned about adulthood. Right. At some point, yes, you still pursue your dreams. Yes, you still, keep the core of you. But there's also the reality of age of like, at some point, I have to grow up a bit and pass things on to those who come behind me. And, and I think with Pokemon, like we kind of reached a point where it's like they kind of want to hold on to that 95 magic for all that it's worth. And it's like, bro, it is done. It's over. It's okay. We can grow up and we can move on and still, do things as a franchise that haven't been done before. If we can just get past the Pokemon trainer who has to catch them all for 40 more years.
Didn't even fight Giovanni as the final boss. Kid.
He didn't fight anybody as anyone from the original series as the final boss.
Man, I forgot what I was going to say.
All right, fellas. This has been another episode of the Gamer Podcast. Once again, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Anyone who's been listening, anyone who's been watching, we've definitely started to see the growth slowly but surely. Especially on our YouTube page. Thank you guys for all the clicks, comments, likes. We're going to continue to improve and get better. In my downtime, I'm always looking for ways to improve and take us to the next level. I know these guys are too. So once again, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Gamer Podcast. Once again, I am Antonius the Gamer. Y'all can say y'all goodbyes, and we are out of here.
Take care.
All right, take care.
All right.